Northeast Texas Sports Network and Azalea Orthopedics present Northeast Texas Football, the 2023 season. Evans' three-point shot. It's good. The following is a production of the Rough Rider broadcast team, a presentation of Watlington and Shires Productions.
Hey, Rough Rider fans. Welcome to the pizzeria. It's time for the Coach Rick Meeks Show. Brought to you by Sabine State Bank. Tonight, we talk about the Brownsboro game. And we look back on the regular season tonight. Then we look ahead to round one of the Buckeyes. And we talk about some players who have reached milestone history, baby. Milestones are good. So good. So get ready for the Coach Rick Meeks Show. It's live from the pizzeria.
McAdams Propane Company is your East Texas propane provider. Josh McAdams represents the third generation of a family that has kept clean, efficient propane running to the facilities and farms of the area, as well as to the outdoor kitchens that make life fun. They also have the supplies that make an outdoor kitchen possible. Aware of the community, they have provided a luncheon for the first responders of our area. From the beautiful outdoor kitchen to the important fuel that keeps the engines running, keep your engine running with McAdams Propane and Center. Sandy Cox is a good State Farm agent. Just ask Drake. He knows. State Farm agents in general are pretty cool, but Sandy Cox has the answers to your questions. Like, what's best for me, for my kids, for my business, for my farm? For all of us in Shelby County, those questions can be answered at Sandy Cox State Farm.
Everybody, welcome to the Rick Meeks Show live here from the pizzeria, brought to you by Sabine State Bank. For all your financial needs, go down and see Steve Waters down there right next to Brooks Brothers at Sabine State Bank. Well, Coach, it would not be the Rick Meeks Show without Coach Rick Meeks. We have you here for this evening.
Yes, sir.
So, Brownsboro, we come away with a big victory there. We're just going to get right to it. What lessons do we learn from Brownsboro?
You know, I thought our kids did a really good job of showing up and answering some of the challenges we had for them throughout the week. We wanted to do a better job controlling the line of scrimmage offensively, running the ball. Defensively, we challenged them to more than 1 to 2 at the ball carrier. We wanted 5, 6, 7 hats at the tackle, and I thought we did a good job of all of that. We did a better job with some fundamental things. I know we had a turnover early, but we did a really good job of executing. We did a good job of spreading the ball around. That's the balance we're after offensively, not necessarily rushing yards or passing yards or rushing attempts and passing attempts. Like we want a defense to know that all 6 of our skill guys are capable of touching it and doing something with it. So I thought we did a good job with that. And then defensively we created turnovers, we ran to the ball, we got pressure on the quarterback, and a lot of really good things there that we have been building on the last few weeks, and I thought we continue to grow that way as well.
What I was going to ask you about, Coach, too, is because I thought it was a really good performance by the guys because, the last couple of weeks have been against some really tough squads there. And, of course, unfortunately come away with a couple loss in there, too. But, to bounce back, and finish the season, that regular season game at home, and look really good doing it, get yourself prepared for, a tough week coming up. That had to be, a very motivating for the team and the coach staff to know, hey, we're getting it together. We had a good game plan, and we can build on this going into the playoffs.
Absolutely, and like we talked last week, the game really didn't have any bearing on where we were going to move. We knew we were playing Gilmer no matter how our game with Brownsboro went. The big thing there was We showed up ready to compete and did that because that's what trusting our process is about, right? Be where your feet are and execute the way you're supposed to, and don't worry about anything else. And so very excited that our kids showed up and did that. We played with really good energy, and from start to finish, we did a really good job.
Right.
And so I was very excited about that. I think that speaks a lot for our kids and where we're at from a football program standpoint, and kind of how far we've come along over the last 3 years. So very excited about that because we didn't just go out there and just go through the motions.
Right.
We went and played, and we did it the right way, and we did a lot of really good things along the way.
Good.
All right. So, Coach, I've got a question. So, I mean, again, our field goal kicker, he kicked one. What was the
41?
It was
41? Nice.
And it would have been good from a lot further out. My question is, I mean, and again, given there's a lot of factors that go into play, including game strategy and weather conditions. But would you try him out for a 50-yarder?
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, it's amazing the success that Carlos has had this year from a kickoff standpoint, punt, PAT field goal, just the success he's had and the value he brings to our team is unbelievable. We have just the utmost confidence in him as well as he has in himself, which I think is why he's having the success he's had. Like when he goes out there, like there's nothing in his mind but this is going in, you know. And I think that's over half the battle because he knows he has the strength to get it there, but it's your mindset as you go out there to go kick it. And he's got all the confidence in the world.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Wallington, we were afraid he was going to jinx him. I mean, we had one.
He's done that a couple times
we
this
had
year already.
one PAT, but there was a bobbled snap. But other than that, I mean, I think we were perfect on that. And then, we talked about a couple weeks ago. We talked about your special teams matrix, and and that, and I think, last couple games, I think we were back to normal where we won that element of the game.
Absolutely, we've got back to executing in special teams the way we needed to. We've made a couple changes in our kickoff and punt, and they have been very, very positive changes for the way we execute those snaps. And I think kickoff the other night is a prime example because the majority of the time, they either were fair catching it or it was out of the end zone, but they tried to return 2 to 3, tried to reverse the field on us, and our contained guys got vertical. I mean, we're making the tackle inside the 20.
Yep.
One time inside the 15, and so just sprinting down the field and attacking. I think that speaks a lot of the culture of your team, and I know from our standpoint when we flip on scout tape and that's one of the first places we go. We want to see them run down on kickoff.
Right.
Is it important to them? Are they going to go attack, or are they just going to jog down and let one or two guys make the tackle? And I think that sets a statement for your team and your mentality and the culture of your program. And I might be the only one that thinks that, but I really believe it. And so we preach it into our guys, and we know Carlos is going to get it to the goal line. Sometimes, depending on when, he's going to kick it out.
Right.
It still don't matter. We're still sprinting down the field. We're still covering the kick. And if it goes out the back of the end zone, we should be finishing through a certain spot, and defense is coming on, and we're going to go play. And so we're getting back to that mentality, and I think it's it's showing.
Yep. Coach, tell us, because I was trying to think, because I always like to think of a player who kind of stood out, especially guys. I mean, because we could talk about, Cash, and we could talk about Dixon, and we talk about these other guys every week. But I always try to find a guy who kind of stood out. Who do you want to recognize this week?
Friday was T.J. Bellin, without a doubt.
I was gonna suggest that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
There's hands down. I mean, T.J.
Of course, that's T.J. Bellin.
You got to drive it home. There you go.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, he has grown up a lot from the first day of practice till now. He is a huge part of our offense. I know Friday night, yardage-wise and touchdown-wise was his best night, but there's been games where, 4 and 5 catches is not uncommon. But he is a threat when the ball's in his hands. He's a vertical threat. He runs really well. He's hard to bring down with the first tackler. But the game he had Friday night was awesome.
That was going to be – if you didn't bring him up, I was too. The other cool thing about TJ, he's one of the few guys we see less and less of them. But, I mean, he's football, basketball, and baseball.
Yes.
And so,
and excels in all three.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that's just so important.
Yes, sir. And does a really good job in the classroom too. I mean, he excels.
Yeah, he better. His mama.
Yes, she will.
Get on him quick, huh?
Man, he's an awesome young man. He is. I'm happy for him that he's had the success he's had this year. He's played quarterback coming up into this. Obviously, we saw something in him to where he didn't just have to be Cash's backup all year. Like we saw that he still could perform at receiver. And, early on he was a little unsure, but once he saw that we believed in him and then he started believing in himself, the things that he has done this year has just been awesome. So,
and of course,
very proud of him for that.
Is he a sophomore or is he a freshman?
He's a junior.
He's a junior.
So the other question would be, and again, anything can happen, but do we anticipate that he would take over at quarterback next year, or are you going to think he likely to stay at wide receiver? Because, I mean, either way is going to be or have we even thought about that yet?
We haven't thought about it a whole lot. I mean, if you're going to put me on the spot here, I'm going to say we will start the offseason with him there at quarterback.
Right, he's going to be the
yes, sir. So
yes.
But I honestly can say we've not put a ton of thought into that just yet.
Right, because we got still football to play this year.
That's right. I'm not ready to wish off our current seniors.
Oh,
yet.
Exactly. But yeah, we've talked about that. Is that it looks like that he's ready to go and can step in and do it. But then you lose that out there on the outside, and he's really stepped it up.
He has. He's become a really good threat in a lot of different areas in the screen game and vertical. So just, like I said, very, very proud of him for what he has done this year.
Well, if he does decide to go into that quarterback position after learning all the different routes and on the things for the wide receivers, it'll be a big help to him if he's able to make that jump next year. That'll be a big advantage for him if he's able to do that.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
All right, well, very good, folks. That's our wrap-up for the Brownsboro game. Now we need to talk about the most important thing of the night is the pizzas we have here. So we have, as usual, Coach, you've just about got me convinced on the extra crispy
That's where it's at.
Yeah. And we got that, and we've got we have the Works Pizza over here. So we got some guys coming in for special guests. So
because I was also noticing real quick. I know, but I was also noticing as I follow Center Rough Rider athletics and all that. But I mean, the young men that are coming in here, we're seeing these new records that are almost being set by this team this year. That have been some records, all kinds of different ones. So that's really great, man. This is a great program. This is good stuff going on.
Yes, sir.
Right. Well, that's an esteemed group. Yeah. That Lance Wilburn has just showed up, folks. Lance is in the house. But we were talking about. Obviously he's in the same group as the Evans brothers, and then the other Evans, who was a cousin, and then we like to talk about, as we talked about on Friday night, the other guy, a contemporary of mine, Devonda Hubbard, was up there, and we on a team that kind of the first team in Center's history that really passed the ball a lot.
And too, looking at those records, it was kind of funny. You could tell, like you guys talk about, we didn't pass the ball like we do now, because you look back at those records of the touchdowns in 2008, 2000, like 26 and 27, and we're at 66 or whatever it is now. It's crazy how the difference was. So I've seen what you're talking about now, how it's a different ground and pound, and now it's a different game.
It is, but it's still. I mean, he's in a company of the finest Center athletes of all time.
But we should say they're in his company since he broke the record.
Oh, well, I guess that's right. I guess that's right.
They are now in his company.
They're now in his company.
That's
right. I like that.
All right, folks. That's going to be it for our first segment. We're going to salute our sponsor of the night, which is the Sign Shop. We're going to hear from them at Sabine State Bank, and we'll be back with more of the Rick Meeks Show live from the pizzeria right after this.
What is the best way to communicate to the people that you want to communicate to? You put a sign in your yard. It says, vote for me, or vote for my friend. It says, congratulations. It says, happy birthday. It can even say, I love you. For the most important messages, it's the Sign Shop. Find them on Cascade Drive, the Sign Shop, Center, Texas. At Sabine State Bank, you have a lot of things going for you. It's a small office, so every...
Welcome back, everybody, to the Rick Meeks Show. It's live from the pizzeria. It's brought to you by Sabine State Bank. Chris Wallington, good to be here today. We started with Coach. Now we have a couple of players, as you see to my left and right. This is Cash Cross. This is Lance Wilburn. And this guy tied and broke a record Friday night. He also is approaching another even bigger record and tied that one as well. So he was flirting with the record book last week. This guy is this close to doing the same thing. Career yards for a Rough Rider quarterback. He's we don't really know how many yards you got last week, do we?
Yeah. No, you don't.
But it was more than 40.
More than 200.
Okay. And so if it's 200, which it was more than that, well, let's just say it's 200. He's like 152 yards away from the all-time record. Pretty good stuff. Lance set the single-season touchdown record last week. Who did he pass? That was Marmar last year. I mean, poor old Marmar, his record stood for 11 months, and Wilburn comes and whacks it down. That's a pretty big deal, but you also now, Lance, are tied for second in all-time career touchdowns.
Yes, sir.
With Octavius Evans.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember Octavius?
A little bit.
Do you remember watching him play?
A little bit.
Yeah. What? Gosh, I think that was – he came through about 6 years ago, so you were in 7th grade or whatever?
Yes, sir, I think
Okay.
so.
All right, the guy goes D1. He plays for the Grass is Blue and has a really good career there in Boise State. One of our best all time. You just tied him for all-time touchdowns in a Rough Rider uniform. I mean, do you ever allow yourself to kind of think about that?
I've never really thought about it, to be honest with you.
You don't strike me as the type that would.
No, sir.
Not really a big deal to you. Maybe when you're all done and stuff, you'll come back and watch a game and go, yep, that kid's good, but he's still 6 touchdowns short of me. That would be cool. I don't have any records at all. So do you know Kyle Parks?
Yes.
The fellow you're chasing? How do you know him?
I just know him just because he's from Center.
Okay. Do you remember seeing him play any?
Yes, sir.
That was about the same time that Evans was here, 6th, 7th grade?
Mm-hmm.
Did you have any idea that, A, I'm going to be doing what he's doing in 4 or 5 years, and I'm going to be doing it just as well? I mean, did that ever enter your 6th grade mind?
I didn't even know I was going to be quarterback.
No. What did you think? I mean, if you daydreamed about playing football.
I used to always want to be like Octavius.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to be like the guy whose record you tied. Who are these people? And I grew up with some good athletes. They're nowhere on the record book. And then when we started doing games in the 90s, Ben Wolf has been up to this point considered maybe the best quarterback we had. He was the full meal deal. And his career touchdowns like 31. Mm-hmm. You've more than doubled it. I mean, you had him at the end of your sophomore year. And it's just a different game. So we keep saying these guys are in the same atmosphere and stratosphere as some great athletes. And your coach said maybe on the air, he said this in the last segment, maybe we should be saying those guys are in Lance Wilburn's atmosphere and in Cash Cross's atmosphere. And he's right. You guys are doing great. Tell me, you're going to get the same question, okay? So pay attention. You're throwing the ball to Lance. Mm-hmm. How is he different than Bellin or Johnson or the others? Is there, when you look up and see, I know you're not seeing number. When do you know you're throwing to Lance? How do you know?
Lance is just fast.
Okay. You
fast.
see a streak on the outside and you throw it as far as you can.
Even when he's not passing him, I know he's going to get past him.
Okay.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that's been the case.
Mm-hmm.
You watch the film, when the ball leaves your hand, he's not open.
Yeah, but he gets there.
He gets there.
Yeah.
Tell me about, I guess most of the passes you've caught in your life have been from him.
Yes, sir. My whole high school career.
Do you usually you're running to the ball in deep routes, but tell me about some of the times when you're turning and the ball hits you in the hands at 95 miles an hour. How do you even learn to catch that? Let me ask you another way. What's the difference between catching a fastball and catching the long ball?
I don't know.
Just from a physics, how do you do it? What's the difference in the way you
Just
do
the way
that?
I turn my hands, I guess. I don't.
How do you keep them from bouncing off? The ball's coming so hard.
You have to have soft hands.
What does that mean? Show me.
You like absorb the ball. I don't.
Absorb it.
Absorb the impact.
Yeah. Okay. That's because it's amazing. I stood in front of a college quarterback that I knew and said, "Throw it to me. I can catch it." And 3 times in a row, clank. And I thought, this is a different level of, and you're thinking about college. Where are you thinking about going next year? I talked to you about it on a recording that we played last week, but for folks that might not have seen that, where would you like to go?
I'm looking at Lamar and the University of Louisiana at Lafayette.
Okay. And have you talked to those folks?
Yes, sir.
I
I talk to them pretty often.
So they're also looking at you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you thinking about sports in college?
A little bit.
Okay. You're not actively going out and recruiting yourself?
No, sir, not really.
If you got a call from, like, the perfect college, not Alabama. I mean, let's not talk about the perfect colleges that you think maybe you could go. Where would you go?
I don't know.
And you probably could go to Alabama, but I mean, you hadn't really thought much about it.
No, sir.
Okay. I like Lance's style. It's going to work. I'll be there. Larry's saying gig 'em. You can go there and you can enjoy 4 years of 6 wins and 6 losses. It looks like. Well, y'all, I'm excited for y'all, and 2 touchdowns is what it's going to take to tie Marmar, I think,
Yes, sir.
career. You played with Marmar. I mean, what did you learn from Marmar? I mean, anything?
About all I know.
Really? That's a compliment. He'd like to hear that.
Yes, sir.
What's the difference between throwing to Marmar and Lance?
Faster.
Really?
Yeah, he's just faster. Marmar is like Marmar. He physical. Lance just fast.
Okay.
He physical too, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which of them, if you had to rate just route running?
route running. Oh, Marmar.
Okay. He'll blow past him. Marmar will get open another
Lance
way.
don't need the route running.
That's great. Well, I'm looking forward to it. We don't know how many yards you need, but it couldn't be. It's not 200.
Yeah, not 200.
Okay,
I
so-
should get it Friday.
All right. Well, I sure hope so. That'll be great. We'll talk to you after the game, post game. Thanks for coming by the Rick Meeks Show, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Before we go, let me say thanks to JBI Insurance. If it is an athletic event and center, JBI Insurance is one of the sponsors that makes it possible. We thank him for his support of the program and the support of this program as well. We'll hear now from Center Motor Company, because when we talk to players, it's Center Motor Company that always brings it to you. We'll hear from them and a few others. We'll be right back with more of the Rick Meeks Show here, brought to you by Sabine State Bank.
Thought you'd seen the last of the Ford Bronco? Well, you were wrong. Ford brought the Bronco back so they could put the S in SUV. Comfort and connectivity for the highway to get you there, and then the power you need for your off-road adventure. Run at the front of the herd. Saddle up a Bronco at Center Motor Company.
So many things get started at Pizzeria. You start your party off with a pizza from the pizzeria. You get your celebration started. You get your season started. For a lot of us, our passion with pizza started at the Pizzeria, a tradition since 1960s. It's the Pizzeria just off the square in Center. Live from the Pizzeria, you're watching the Coach Rick Meeks Show, brought to you by Sabine State Bank.
All All righty, folks, welcome back here to the Rick Meeks Show live from the pizzeria here on St. Augustine Street. Hope everyone's having a blessed evening tonight. Thanks for doing this evening. And coming on down and have some pizza. We're here every Tuesday night, and come on down and be a part of the show. Have some pizza here, too. All right, Coach, my favorite segment here, we get to talk a little bit about some of the other sports that are going on in the Center Rough Riders. I know that we recently wrapped up with some cross country. I know we had a runner in there, and tell us, let's start there. So how do we end up with
Solomon advanced all the way to the state meet. Ran, I think he busted his personal best by a second or two. He went just a tad over 16 minutes and finished in the top third. I think he was 42 out of 150, 140 runners. So very very proud of him for advancing. And like I said, I mean he's in the top third run in all the class of 4A. So. Yeah, he had a phenomenal season, so he did a really good job.
That's good, and I know that program's come along there too. And moving into the Lady Rough Riders started their basketball season, and of course we had Coach here last week and everything. And I know that they got a game coming up in Elysian Fields on Saturday morning. Yep. But they've been doing really good to get to start. I know Coach was excited about the season. So how those first couple of games go so far?
Yeah, everything's been going well, and they're in Hemp Hill tonight, and they are at Elysian Fields on Saturday. They have their home opener next Tuesday versus Hudson. And so everything with them has started off on a really good note, and girls are playing well, and so I know there's still a lot of excitement there with girls basketball.
Yeah, it's getting ready to get in with the girls basketball, and of course, the guys are going to be coming up probably closer to December whenever they get there, and hopefully that some of the maybe we'll have to put out basketball season for a little while.
Right.
So that's our hope out there, Coach. But some of the other things that are coming up too. When do we get started with soccer? Is it a December? Is that
No, they'll start practice in center, but in December.
Mm-hmm.
And games start when we come back from Christmas break.
That's what I thought.
So,
I thought it was somewhere around January where we were kind of working that last year with the soccer team. And I have a big expectation of the soccer team this year. We did really good this last year, went really far. And even our Lady Rider soccer team did really, really good too. And they got a lot of those young ladies and those young men are coming back in both those squads. So I know both those coaches are excited for a season upcoming.
Yes, sir. A lot of returners for both of them coming off really good seasons. Our girls soccer team making the playoffs for the first time. Like I said, Coach Latrach has a lot of those young ladies back. So high expectations for both of them. And, junior high, we got junior high girls basketball kicking off. They go to Tenaha Thursday. Junior high boys go to Marshall. So they're getting started as well. And junior high team tennis got the win over Kilgore tonight.
Nice.
And they play. I think their next match is at home on the 14th versus Spring Hill. I believe that is correct.
Right.
So a lot of really good things happening at the junior high level as well as the high school level.
But speaking of that, does the junior high have like the district? Do they have like a district championship at the end, or is it just they play through it and best record?
Yeah, junior high team tennis is 3 matches or 4 matches. And so I don't think there is a district.
Right, yeah. So they just kind of played it out there and see kind of got the best at the end kind of thing. Well, that's cool. Yeah, there you go. Maybe a ranking type. That's even a good
it's
thing
definitely bragging rights and bragging rights for and I think the reason is this and bragging rights for us to have kids in a program at that level. Like there's a lot of schools our size in our area that do not have a junior high tennis program.
Right.
So the fact that we have that and are able to compete, and a lot of times we're going to play schools bigger than us because schools our size don't have that.
Right.
So, but it shows too with the success that our high school has and Coach Dykes, that because we're able to start in 6th grade pre-athletics and have a 7th and 8th grade team tennis team, and then we play in the spring, and that's how you build a program.
Right. And there's one thing I want to tell you about, Coach. Coming up here, I got the basketball schedule, and it says there's a Legends game. Did I miss out on that last year? And I was just kind of curious, is that something that we do at Center?
Is that the alumni game?
Alumni game. That's what Legends alumni game. Is that what they do here? Is that a game that we play?
I think it.
Is that something that was on there before? Because see, that's what I wanted to talk about to you guys about. I want to give you because I think it would be a really good idea if we could get like a Legends game or something like that, or alumni game where you can have like the odd years play the even years. You come out and have just like a a big benefit or something like that,
Right.
and have everybody cook up some desserts and auction it off, and you have a fun time, and it makes money for the program and all that kind of thing. I've seen some stuff like that in other states, so I was just like, man, that would be so cool if we could put something together like that. And I think it would really be something that would be great and beneficial, not only to the guys program, even the girls program.
What do you think? You think it'll work?
I think
you got something going on,
Chris Watlington.
Well, certainly.
He heard that. He snuck in here quick.
There couldn't be a basketball game of legends without me on it.
I know.
But don't you know that'd go over? There are a lot of those guys that were good in the last decade
They just play a
are
fun
still
game,
here.
fun
they-
game. Yeah, fun
They
game.
live and die with Rough Rider basketball.
Right.
I think that'd be good.
Yeah, because you get like your even years, play the odd years. Just get a team together, play a fun game, and just do it on a Saturday, and have a bunch of folks make some desserts and pies, and just have a little auction like that, and make some money for the program. Yeah,
I have a
fun.
feeling it'd be pretty serious. I
Yeah.
don't know if it'd be just a real fun game.
Yeah,
We have to
desserts,
let them know, hey man, this is all for fun
cakes,
here, okay? Yeah.
pies, and police.
These people paid to get in here. It's a couple bucks to watch you guys, so let's
We'd have all the Shelby County
I think so.
Sheriff's Department in there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we'd have to make sure. Hey, we got to keep this cool and copacetic here. But that's just an idea. I think it'd be something that would be maybe pretty cool that we
Yes,
might be able
sir.
to try right there. But I know we're coming into this one. Are you just going to jump right in here? We're going to take the break.
No,
Do I need to get us on the break here?
Go ahead. I'll take
Okay.
this off. You take us to break.
Okay, we're going to go to break. We're going to hear from good folks of McAdams Propane and Joe's Car Wash, one of my favorite places. And we get back to the Rick Meeks Show at the Pizzeria here on Tuesday night. Yeah, there we go.
McAdams Propane Company is your East Texas propane provider. Josh McAdams represents the third generation of a family that has kept clean, efficient propane running to facilities and farms of the area, as well as to the outdoor kitchens that make life fun. They also have the supplies that make an outdoor kitchen possible. Aware of the community, they have provided a luncheon for the first responders of our area. From the beautiful outdoor kitchen to the important fuel that keeps the engines running, keep your engine running with McAdams Propane in Center.
Hey, y'all got a dirty truck.
Well, then take it to Joe's Car Spa for a spa day.
At Joe's, they make 'em shine.
And they're standing by to work with the community.
They was elected best of Shelby County this year, and it's called Joe's, but it probably ought to be called Reed since Reed Grant owns it.
So, Billy Don, when it's time for your car or truck to have a spa day, where do you take it?
Welcome back to the Pizzeria. It's
We're
the Rick
talking
Meeks
donkeys.
Show, and we're talking donkey basketball. Do any of you watching remember that? It was before we built the school that we are in now.
It's just the old fundraiser thing. They still do it, man. all
Have you
over the
ever
place.
seen it?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah, it's fun, man. You
I
gotta
wondered
try
if I had dreamed that, and
No,
I
it's
just
true.
said donkey basketball, and Larry goes, "Oh yeah, I played donkey basketball."
I played donkey basketball a few times in Oklahoma, Kansas. Sure.
Did
have.
you ever play, or
Coach
No.
is like, no, I don't know. I don't know.
I
I'm
can't
trying to
say
stay out of the
I did.
conversation.
he just put his microphone up, so they'll stop talking about this in a minute. Thanks to the Forge, if there's going to be basketball legends of any sort, whether it's donkey back or on foot, I'm going to have to go to Forge and work out for sure. And I'm going to need all the help I can get from Danbert Collins. The good news is he's right over there on the square waiting
You
for you
might
at
be
the
a
Forge.
special referee during the Legends game.
So in 3 days now, we're going to go take on the Gilmer Buckeyes.
Yes, sir.
And Center people are a little bit scarred if they're Center fans for a long time. They were in our district for a while, and pre-district before that. And so 4 years in a row we played them, and they just shelled us. That when they were in their heyday. The last time we played them was in a playoff game, and we should have won, shoulda, coulda, came right down to the wire. So, and then we hadn't seen them in about 6 or 7 years.
Right.
I don't think this is the same Gilmer dynasty level super team that they used to have, but they're still a mighty difficult out. Tell me what you know about them.
Oh, they're still in that category.
Are they?
You know, and the thing about it is, a lot of the coaches have been there since Jeff was hired in Jeff Traylor, that is, when he was hired in '99
okay.
or 2000, who now is the head coach at UTSA. But they were there. They've been there through the three head coaches since then, which was Jeff and then Matt Turner, which Matt Turner's with Jeff at UTSA, excuse me, and then now Alan Metzel's the head coach, and they've hired back. There's players that have played through that are now coaches there, and the tradition and the foundation that is there is phenomenal. You got to think too, the kids that are currently seniors. Jeff and them won their first state championship, I think, in 2004. The seniors now were born in, what, 05, 06?
Oh, yeah.
So from 2004 till now, there's only been 2 years in there that they haven't played to the third round of the playoffs. One was shortly after 04. They got upset in the first round by Liberty Ilo in a bi-district game, and I think that was around 06 or 07. And then there was another one in there around 11 or somewhere in there.
We played Liberty Ilo that year.
And so you got to think those kids that have grown up there, what they have been a part of from a community standpoint and a program standpoint. That's all they've known. Like they have only known success, and so the expectation and playing into that tradition is hard to beat. Like they expect to win. When they step on the field, it doesn't matter who they play. They're stepping on to win. So it's a lot different mindset than where we currently are. We're making strides in that direction, but it's just a little bit different, right? I mean, that program has been in place now 24 years, and we're sitting on year 3. So they're still very much so extremely talented, very well coached, do a lot of really good things, and their kids just don't make many mistakes.
I will tell you this, just because of the research I do and things like that, just checking out chats, from different places. People just really, really good with each other, just talking about it. But, it's almost like a 50-50 on the way people feel about this game on both teams,
Really?
because, both teams are so very good. They're so very – and you look at it on paper, one's a 2, one's a 3 seed. And, it's just like execution, because this is you pound it in. Who is going to execute, hold on to the ball, and, you got to be in that mindset of once you're between those two big white lines out there, it's nothing but that and what's happening at that time.
I think that maybe the good news is our players don't know Gilmer. We haven't played a long
I agree,
time.
and
they
we've,
know of them, but
we've talked about that a little bit. They play Carthage every year.
yeah.
Gilmer does?
No, I'm talking about
we
us.
do.
Like,
Okay,
just
yeah.
talking about the mindset
kids,
of
okay.
maybe our kids towards Carthage as opposed to Gilmer. It's not, we've played them. We played them in basketball last year. They're in our basketball district, but it's just a little bit different. Now, us as coaches, we know what we're headed up against, and maybe our kids just outside of what we have talked to them about and really emphasize, they're really kind of unsure about what the atmosphere Friday night is going to be. I mean, it's going to be a pretty electric atmosphere, and this is one of those matchups where you can make a really strong case for, like, the state of Louisiana that does power ratings. Because I'm going to tell you right now, when you look at Region 2, you have
It's one of the
Carthage,
toughest in the
and you
state.
have Pleasant Grove, and you have Gilmer, and you have us. And 2 of those top 4 are fixing to play each other in the first round, whereas power ratings, you would work your way to that game, and I realize the biggest argument on that in the state of Texas is the state's so big it's hard to do that because you're going to be driving all over the place, and I understand that. But this is one of those. It's a really good argument for that because there's going to be a really good team that their season's going to come to an end Friday night, and a team that's going to be a lot better than other teams that are still playing.
Federer never played Roddick in the first round.
All right.
And,
Correct.
And there's no way to avoid that here. What do they, from a football standpoint, I know they're well-rounded. What are you looking at both sides of the ball?
Offensively, still the same type of offense that they have ran as far as you want to go back in terms of the regime that's there, and they are really good at it. They want to give you a good many different formations to see how you're going to align, and if you're going to miss a line, they're going to give you a lot of motion and a lot of misdirection, and then they're going to take their shots down the field from a play action standpoint. Very similar philosophy-wise as us. They just do it a different way. Like I said, there's a lot more motion and things like that. Defensively, they've actually switched up a little bit. The one thing that hasn't changed is their aggressive nature. I know their defensive coordinator, Tommy Edwards, has been there for a while, has been the defensive line coach, took over as a defensive coordinator a few years back. But he's been there pretty much the whole time since Jeff got in Gilmer. So But one thing about him is he is very aggressive in his play calling, in his alignment. So even though the front, they've shown us a few different things from a front standpoint as they have in the past, their mentality and the way they attack and the way they're going to try to bring pressure has not. And so we're going to get a good bit of four-man front, and they're gonna do everything they can to stunt with their linebackers and play. I really feel like they're going to play a lot of man and man free on the back end and bring as much pressure as they can.
You know, and what I think too, coaches, like what you were saying is like what we talked about this earlier in the season, how we were trying to, we've been into year 3 of building this program and everything. And but these young men that are playing on this team that are in Gilmer, I can guarantee you they went through the same program in their junior high and probably even their little league coming all the way. I mean, they've been. That's how that's what you're saying. That's how they're so good in the pound of the familiarity, and that's what comes up to it. Now, I mean, you got to have your family behind it and all the way, and that's how you build. That's what you're talking about. That's what we have to do to build those kinds of programs. You have to start right there, and those young men have to buy in, and they do it over and over and over. When they get there, they know how to do it, and they do it well.
Right, and that's the big part of just a community and a program all on the same page. There's been a lot of people that have talked how sitting the Gilmer team of this and from their own community, and I'm just sitting there thinking, how spoiled people get.
Right.
Like that's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they are a very good football team,
right.
And and have done some really good things. And once again, I think we talked about this a few weeks back, but if you look at Max Preps and the power ratings, the top 4 power ratings are Van, and then us. No, I'm sorry, Van, and then Carthage, and then us, and then Gilmer. So in the top 20, those are the top 4 power ratings, and 3 come out of our district. The top 3 are in our district, and and so
and then they got to play each other.
And so they have played a very tough schedule. They played a very tough non-district schedule, and they've moved a lot of guys around throughout the season, and there's no doubt they have the pieces in place now, and there'll be some kids in spots Friday night that haven't played a whole lot of defense yet, but they're going to play now because they're the best. They're the best kid for the spot in this time of year, because it's playoff football, and so.
We were there about 08 or 09, and I was waiting for a cheerleader interview about 7:05. There's no standing room even in the stands 25 minutes early, except the middle. Aren't very many people there. And this lady wearing Gilmer colors was standing next to me. She looked friendly, but she looked irritated. And I said, what's up? She says, it makes me so, smoker voice, it makes me so mad that the season ticket holders don't have to get here early. Well, the rest of us are sitting here elbowing for tickets. My husband's not here, and we're not going to get a seat. And I said, well, that's a good problem, isn't it? She said, yeah. Hey, when you get a divorce in Gilmer, you fight over the house, the kids, and the season tickets.
This is Green Bay.
I thought, wow. One of these days.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
We'll come right back. We got to get him to the radio station. I'm sorry to
No, we're
interrupt.
done with that. We're done with that. He's done down there. We don't have to go down there today.
I went early.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yes, I was going to ask him a question. If that's
Never
okay.
mind. Well, then
That's all right.
I thought we were in a hurry.
Two more pizzas that we got all night.
Yeah, we can hang out for a while. And my thing was too, Coach, just because I don't know much about Gilmer, just watching some things, and doing some research, but I do know, how good they are. But and just, like I said, I'm a paper analytics guy. I can tell you all that too. But I really like, our speed for our receivers and our outside guys against their secondary, and I really like our secondary better against their receiving core in there. I think that we have a little bit of advantage in those 2 areas there. That could be the one big place where we can exploit it. But they're going to know to scout that out. But I mean, that could be the one place where we could really find some stuff to get through Gilmer.
You think?
Possibly.
It's going to be hard, but I mean, yeah.
Here's the thing. They've got 2 guys that have not played. One hadn't played any defense all year. They've got one that's played a few snaps. But I will be, and we've prepared for these 2 to play defense. But the quarterback, as a freshman, started at safety, and started on defense and was a very good player as a 9th grader. Very aggressive, not scared of contact at all by any means. He can come down and play in the box as a linebacker. He can also play safety. But he's played quarterback all year. And in the Pleasant Grove game, he had an injury, and so the backup they brought in that has played up until Friday night, they had pretty much the same offensive production, and when you watch them on film, they're very similar.
Man.
So they now have an option at quarterback to allow
him to be safety.
For him to go play safety, for the Tennyson kid to play safety. And he might just play both ways. He might do both. But I think he will play in the back end. And I also think Henderson, the tailback, will go play corner. And what that does is that puts two kids on the back end now that exponentially grow their athletic ability. You know, the Henderson kid is now back-to-back 400-meter or 100-meter champion in 4A the last 2 years.
He can run with Wilbur.
And so the speed factor they can put at corner, and now Tennyson that they can put at safety, like that makes them really good on the back end. And so I think if this was a regular season game, that's one thing, but now going into the playoffs, that's how we're preparing because, I mean, that's what I would do.
Yeah, you got to take out every.
So you got to kind
all
of think
stops
about
coming up.
those things, about how you would handle that. And so I'd be very surprised if those two kids are not playing a lot of defensive snaps. I'm not saying they're going to play every one of them, but I think they will play them
Key ones.
in key roles and key times of the game. And early on in the game when momentum is so high and both teams are trying to jockey for that early on edge of just momentum and grasping it. And I think those kids are going to be on the field.
Right. Yeah. That may just change it up a little bit because just what's things there too. But but that also you could always game plan on that. There's some things you could do to work around that. Get some underneath stuff there too that could help us out. Just ground and pound it out a little bit. Maybe see a little bit of difference offense. Maybe slow us down a little bit to keep them from us too. So you guys got plenty of options. I know you can, Coach. You got much different ways to go and. It's going to be rock'em sock'em, I tell you that.
It is going to be that. Yes, sir.
Look forward to it.
It is going to be that.
We have one more segment for Coach, something to smile about, something that it's not about the Gilmer game necessarily. Looking forward to that. We also like to say thanks to Sandy Cox State Farm, McAdams Propane, and Joe's Car Wash. They are our game sponsors for all the games, and they're also our sponsor here tonight. We'll hear from them, and we'll be right back with something to smile about from Wyndham Family Dental.
Rough Rider Football brought to you in part by Sandy Cox State Farm, Shelby County's good neighbor. Joe's Car Wash, the easy and convenient way to keep it clean. And McAdams Propane, get it cooking and keep it warm with McAdams. What sort of thing do you expect from a good coach like Rick Meeks? To prepare you, to make you ready for the game, to make sure that the good times outnumber the bad times, but that when bad times come, you can weather the storm. What do you expect from a good financial planner? Well, much the same thing, so that your family and you get across the finish line on top of the world. That's why JBA Financial sponsors our Coach Talk with Rick Meeks. JBA Financial and Rough Rider Football. At Sabine State Bank, you have a lot of things going for you. It's a small office, so everybody.
Welcome back. It's the Pizzeria. That's Coach Rick Meeks, and this is Sabine State Bank bringing us the Rick Meeks Show, and it's time for something to smile about, brought to you by Wyndham Family Dental. I asked him off camera what we're going to smile about. Check this out.
Yeah.
Our
Very good smiles.
Football team GPA 348 through the first 9 weeks.
That's good stuff.
That's an average of everybody's GPA. Scarlett, that's pretty good. I mean, when you have a bunch of guys that are right at 3.5, that's if an individual graduating with that from college, that's cum laude. You are cum laude as a team, Coach.
Right. Pretty exciting stuff.
And I don't know. Gilmer might be the same way, but not most football teams aren't. So just consider this: if you're going out for a pattern, and the guys close to you say, "I'm going to burn you on the hypotenuse," and that could slow the guy down just a half step while he's trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
You might try that. There you go. You might
very
try
true.
What's your smiling about, Chris?
I mean,
that is so disappointing.
that's right.
That is good too. But I smile a little bit because
I do have one. But go ahead.
Good football season for the regular season, man. I'm really proud of St. Augustine Wolves and thanks to all the people that we did the games at the radio station and stuff were going on there. But just happy we had a good football season. We didn't have any major things happening out there. Everything went pretty good and stuff. And everybody's come through because that's hard to do on a football season nowadays, man. And so just glad to see everybody ready and having a good season and everybody's good mood going into the playoffs and get the chance to do some really cool games coming up, man. This is the greatest time of the year for me, man.
In the county teams not center, it's so much like a TV series or a movie.
Yeah.
Shelbyville really needed to win so that Joaquin had a chance to go to playoffs. Then they play each other, and everybody's, not everybody's kin, but everybody knows one another, and you're liable to have a cousin on that team. It's just really kind of neat the way it plays out every year.
And then it got me, too, because I don't understand how Joaquin didn't get in because West Sabine ended up getting in, but Joaquin beat West Sabine, but they had the same record. So I don't know if there was a tie, but I thought the first tiebreaker was win-loss, but I don't know how it did. But West Sabine ended up in there. Shelbyville's Thursday night in Nacogdoches. That's where I'm going to be my first round game right there. And then I get to call the Bears from there.
Right. But being from Joaquin and rooting for Shelbyville, that's good stuff and rare. Very rare. So that's fun. And I'm smiling because I was at the tennis court. That's why I'm wearing this Garris shirt. It's my tennis watching shirt.
And since it's about Wyndham Family Dinner, I did go to the movie last night, and Danny Paul Wyndham was there. Saw him at the movie, so there you go.
Watching John Wayne.
John Wayne movie, that's right.
And Rob Payne, our broadcast partner, his son, Zach, won his doubles match. I didn't get to see that. He also won a singles match. I did get to see that, so that was pretty cool. We'll hear from Wyndham Family Dental. We'll send Coach wherever you want to go. I mean, it's
been a long day. Coach might need to
and we'll wrap it up from the pizzeria, but we'll be right back.
Hazel.
Excuse me?
Hazel, my mouth hurts.
What?
My tubes in my mouth.
Oh, you have a toothache.
Yes, a tubes ache.
Well, you need to take that toothache to Wyndham Family Dental. If it can be done in a big city practice, it can be done at Wyndham Family Dental.
Oh, well, thanks very much.
So many things get started at Pizzeria. You start your party off with a pizza from the pizzeria. You get your celebration started. You get your season started. For a lot of us, our passion with pizza started at the pizzeria, a tradition since 1960s. It's the pizzeria just off the square in Center.
Welcome back. It's the Pizzeria. It's the Rick Meeks Show, and it's brought to you by Sabine State Bank. Steve Waters, thank you for this. This has been fun for this season, and you and Pizzeria have made it possible. Right. We also thank the Fries Food Truck. Find the fries.
See, I'm cheesing. The Fries Food Truck got a bunch of cheese. I'm cheesing.
Find the fries. Eat the fries. That's what you got to do. Find the truck. Order from the truck. You will not regret it. It will be something fresh and unusually wonderful. And Larry, you mentioned in the last segment the two games you're going to do this week. Tell me again.
Don Wall, as a matter of fact, will be on the air 100.5 with Shelbyville and Groveton from Nacogdoches, and I'll also be there as well, but I'll be on the NFHS network doing that one.
NFHS network. You may remember from last year, if you've been watching the live stream on school websites or on our website, Yahoo, NetSN, that's not where you'll find the Shelbyville game. You'll go to the NFHS, stands for National Federation of High Schools.
Right.
And once you go there, every high school playoff game in the world almost is there, and you click on the one you want to watch, but it's pay to watch.
Yeah,
it's
a subscription-based.
But it's only $10 for a month, basically for the playoffs. So it's not bad, but you have to go through all that. That's the way the playoffs are usually delivered, and so that's where you'll be.
But that'll be on Thursday, and then on Friday I'll head over to Lufkin, and on the same NFHS I'll do the Timpson-Corrigan-Camden game. They're in Lufkin for the first round of the playoffs. So, busy weekend Thursday and Friday. And if there was one on Saturday, I'd do it too.
All right. And we're going to try and get that out on all local media, how you get the game, because it's confusing. You've done one thing for 10 weeks, and then now it's something else. And it costs. They're asking for your credit card and all that. So, but it's legitimate. I hope to be with you Thursday.
Yeah, me too. I hope you come out. We'll have some fun there. We'll do some Dragon Ball.
I'll be your camera guy. And, Shires and I will. Since Shires not here, let's talk about it.
Okay. Yeah, we can always talk about Shires since he's not here.
We'll.
His daughter will let us talk about it.
Yeah,
She's not gonna say nothing.
she's good with it. We'll be in Hallsville with the Rough Riders, and we are arranging for you to watch it in the same place. It's
NetSN is where you'll find this one because
we're 99% certain we'll probably
we have somebody that's going to take care of the. Okay, the way it is if you buy the broadcast rights, then you can do it on your own platform. So that's what we're trying to do here. I do believe that we have somebody that's going to take care of that for the Rough Riders. So
I'm checking,
and maybe even for next week too. We've already talked to somebody for next week. So. If we
are on YouTube.
So on the NetSN is where you find it. You won't have to pay for the playoff game for Center Rough Riders. That's cool. That's good.
We'll keep you in the same spot. So we're looking forward to that. Hope you enjoyed the Rick Meeks Show. It's live from the Pizzeria. Thank you, Sabine State Bank. Thanks to our players, Lance Wilburn and Cash Cross, who came by. Of course, thank you to Coach Meeks as well. Steve Waters, thank you for doing this. 6:30 will be our pregame show for the Rough Riders for the Coach Meeks game here. It's different. The kickoff is at 7, not 7:30. So it's
a little bit different this week.
So you have to. It's like you fall back, do daylight savings time,
and it's all messed up.
It's the same thing with the kickoff time too. But we will have Lance Wilburn, our senior cheerleaders, as many as we can get, and Coach Meeks in our pregame show. It will be the. You ready for this? It will be the Portacool pregame show.
Really?
Made that arrangement at the tennis court.
Oh, nice.
All coming together later.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
And then our Aurora Concept halftime visit will be with our CHS twirlers who are about to go to UIL contest on their own. And then stay with us for the Wiggins postgame show. Until then, see you at the game, and then see you next week from the Pizzeria.
Bye. At Sabine State Bank, you have a lot of things going for you. It's a small office, so everybody three-point shot. It's good. Takes it to the house. This has been a presentation of the Rough Rider broadcast team, brought to you by Watlington and Shires Productions.